Hey everyone, welcome, I'm Hoodie. It's been 11 years since The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings released, and I love The Witcher 3 so much. I've been going back to make my way through the whole Geralt of Rivia Witcher trilogy. So, if you're wondering about playing the Witcher games, or this one specifically, you'll want to stick around, because at the end I'll be giving you some insight on how all the games compare to one another, and talking about the trilogy as a whole. But for now, I will be giving you the goods on The Witcher 2 without giving away major story spoilers. Let's go. I am going to tell you this, first thing out of the gates. You do not play The Witcher 2 for the action. What? You play this game for the amazing, crafty storytelling it creates. The game is set in a 3-chapter format, which each chapter brings you to a different area to play and explore, where depending on how you choose to play with those crucial elements playing a factor can give you a very different story outcome. A big one is in Chapter 1, you will have to decide who to side with out of 2 factions. From there, your story will change drastically moving forward. The Witcher 2 has 16 potential outcomes. Specific actions and decisions you make heavily influence how your story will unfold, which I love games with these aspects. It really gives a lot of replayability, where if a story is good enough, it will leave a player wanting to go back to see the other outcomes.
Ooh, nicely done.
Why would you consider playing this game? If you are wanting to see how the whole story of Geralt of Rivia and how it unfolds, this is a must play. Like I mentioned, you come for the storytelling, though the action isn't bad either. It's a major improvement from the first Witcher game 4 years prior. It still has a bit of awkwardness at moments where I found myself getting awkward animations or literally stuck on something. But for the most part, it's doable for this being an older game.
It could be worse.
The skill tree for Geralt isn't terrible or complicated. It was unique on how you had restricted leveling skill access for the first 6 levels, where you had to level up the basic skills at the very top. And then after you hit level 7, you gain access to the rest of it, where the 3 categories are swordsmanship, magic, and alchemy. I personally try and prioritize a duo balance between magic and swordsmanship, where I do put some points into alchemy, but not a whole lot usually.
Well, to each their own, I suppose.
The Witcher 2 took me about 20 hours to complete, which isn't bad. I didn't really indulge into a lot of side quests, as I was pretty glued to the main quest, with this being my first playthrough, and I wanted to see what happened next, as it was a pretty good story. I will say, it's a very solid game for being over 10 years old. I was satisfied with the choices I made and the outcomes I received. The cool thing is, I can now take this playthrough and the results I got and use it for a playthrough in the future on The Witcher 3, which until now, I've never been able to do.
Sweet.
Now, like I mentioned in the very beginning, here's my overall insight on how the trilogy holds up as a whole. This game is a good game. If I were to rank the 3 games, I'd say the third one is the best. The second one comes in the middle, and the first game is at the bottom. If you want to know why exactly on specifics, go watch those videos and tell me what you think, where I review all the games very similar to this very video you're watching. I'll link the Witcher playlist below in the video description. As for this video, I will say The Witcher 3 is the only one that plays like a true open world RPG experience, which I loved. Plus, with it being the latest game of the trilogy, it was by far the most polished, the graphics were the best, and the ending came with a punch to conclude Geralt's tale, where both 1 and 2, not really open world, but gave you some freedom to roam, mainly in just one area at a time. Plus, they didn't have Roach in them. Fast traveling is a necessity for games like these, with bigger areas to help limit the feel of going back and forth constantly on some missions, or give us the trusty Witcher sidekick in Roach to help reduce the time of travel. Witcher 3 was the only one that really excelled at that. Witcher 2, I will say, had a great story. If I'm being honest, I would play it again to see about those other outcomes on choice selections. As for the first game,
no! God, please, no! No! No!
I'm going to be wrapping up the video here. If you made it to the very end, thanks for your patience and time. I do appreciate you a great deal, as it does take a lot of time to put these videos together. For you to see the whole video really means a lot. Please drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And most importantly, remember to take care of yourself. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Till next time.
Till next time.